You have done this. You plug your phone into your friend's charger. Same cable, same plug, same wall, and it crawls. Then you plug their phone into yours, and it screams to 50% in 15 minutes. Nothing about the hardware changed. Same shape, same socket, same electricity, and yet one of those phones is drinking through a fire hose and the other is drinking through a coffee stirrer. That's not a broken charger. That's a language barrier. Because there isn't one kind of fast charging. There are about eight, they don't speak to each other. And there's a very real chance the phone in your hand has never once charged at its actual top speed. Stay with me, because by the end, I'll tell you exactly how to find out which one you have. Here's the thing that makes all of this click, and almost nobody explains it first. Charging is not pouring. It feels like pouring. Like the wall is a tap and your battery is a glass and a bigger tap fills it faster. It's nothing like that. Charging is a negotiation. The instant you plug in, your charger and your phone have a tiny conversation in a fraction of a second before any real power moves. The phone says what it can take, the charger says what it can give. They agree on a voltage and a current, and only then does the power flow. And here's the catch that explains everything else in this video. If the two of them don't speak the same dialect, they can't agree on anything fancy. So, they fall back to the one language every USB device on Earth understands, the slowest one. That fallback is where we start. Plain, original USB. No negotiation, no cleverness, 5 volts, and half an amp, 2.5 watts. That is the charging equivalent of a garden hose with a kink in it. It's the reason a phone plugged into the USB port on the back of an old TV overnight can somehow come out at 40%. Everything you're about to hear was invented to escape that number. The first real escape is the one that's supposed to unite everybody: USB power delivery. PD. This is the open standard, the one that isn't owned by a single phone brand. And it works by letting the two devices negotiate much higher voltages instead of just shoving more current down the wire. Modern PD can go up to 240 watts, enough to charge a laptop, a monitor, some power tools. That's not a phone number, that's a workshop number. If you own a USB C charger with no brand logo on the front, this is almost certainly what it speaks. Inside PD, there's a second, subtler standard worth knowing because it's the one that's quietly kind to your battery. PPS, Programmable Power Supply. Regular PD picks from a short menu of voltages: 9 volts, 15, 20. PPS replaces the menu with a dial. It can slide the voltage in tiny steps, 20 millivolts at a time, adjusting continuously as the battery fills. Less mismatch means less waste. Less waste means less heat. And heat is the thing that actually kills batteries. PPS is not the flashiest number on the box. It might be the best one for the phone you want to keep for 4 years. Then there's the one that came out of the chip world: Qualcomm's Quick Charge. If your phone has a Snapdragon processor, this is probably baked in. It's been around for years and climbed through versions the whole time. The latest generations push past 100 watts, and newer versions have made peace with USB C and PD rather than fighting them. Quick charge is the reason fast charging became a phrase on a spec sheet in the first place. And now we get to the ones that broke away completely: Oppo's VOOC and its big sibling SuperVOOC, which also powers OnePlus phones. And it's the same family under the Realme name. These went the opposite direction from everyone else. Instead of raising the voltage, VOOC keeps voltage low and pushes enormous current. But the real trick is where the work happens. Normally, your phone converts the incoming power itself, and that conversion makes heat inside the phone, next to the battery, the worst possible place. VOOC moves that circuitry out into the charging brick, or yeah, the brick gets hot so your phone doesn't. And the numbers are genuinely absurd. The top Super VOOC systems run at 240 watts and can fill a dead phone in about 9 minutes. 9 minutes, that's a shower. Xiaomi runs the same playbook with HyperCharge. Custom voltage and current profiles. shipping phones that go from 0 to 100% in about 25 minutes. Samsung took the more diplomatic route. Their super fast charging is built on top of PD and PPS rather than replacing it, which is why Samsung phones tend to play nicer with chargers that aren't Samsung's. Huawei as Supercharge. Every one of these is a company that looked at the shared standard, decided it wasn't fast enough, and built its own private language on top. And then there's charging with no plug at all. Qi is the universal wireless standard. The reason a pad in a hotel lobby works with basically any phone. Qi2 borrowed Apple's best idea and added magnets, so the coils actually line up instead of you nudging your phone around at 1 a.m. hunting for the sweet spot. MagSafe is Apple's version. Wireless is slower and wastes more energy as heat always. So that's just physics. You're paying watts for the luxury of not aiming. So that's the map. And now the part that actually costs you money. Here's what happens when the languages don't match. If you own a phone with a proprietary standard, a VOOC phone, a HyperCharge phone, and you plug it into any generic charger, you do not get a slightly slower version of fast charging. The negotiation fails, both sides retreat to common ground, and you land somewhere around 18 to 45 watts on a phone rated for 240, and nothing tells you. No warning, no icon, no message. The phone charges. It just charges like it's 4 years older than it is. That 200-watt phone you bought plugged into the perfectly good charger already on your nightstand might be running at a fraction of what you paid for. And it has been quietly doing that since the day you got it. Which brings us back to the question I asked you to hold. How do you know which one you have? 3 things, in order. Look at your phone's box or spec page for the name. VOOC, Hypercharge, Supercharge, a super fast charging, or just plain PE. If it's a brand name, the only way to get the full speed is that brand's own brick and its own cable, because these systems check for both. If it's PD, you're in luck. And the thing to look for on any charger you buy is PD with PPS. That's the closest thing to a universal passport, and it's kinder to the battery besides. And whatever the brick claims, remember who's actually in charge: the phone. The charger only offers. The phone decides what it takes. A 200-watt charger will not make a 15-watt phone charge faster by a single second. That's the whole thing. 8 standards wearing the same plug, pretending to be one. The cable in your hand isn't a pipe, it's a conversation. And the speed you get is just how well those two devices happen to understand each other. So, the next time your phone is crawling on a charger that's supposed to be fast, you'll know it isn't broken. They're just talking past each other